Well, hello to all my Route 67 youth. You guys are amazing. I hope you've survived. What's going on? I know some of you were back at school this past week, and some of you in the Black Gold District had your spring break this week. But as you know, everything has changed in the last month, not just in Edmonton, but in our world. But welcome back to Route 67, and we're hoping that we can do this fairly often and meet as we have done in the past. So join me, and if there's others watching too, we welcome you to our grade 6-7 Route 67 time. So this morning, I want to talk a little bit about an experience that I had not too long ago. I have a pickup truck, and my daughter and I were out driving one day, and it was a sunny day, and I had sunglasses on. And we stopped somewhere, driving around, we stopped somewhere, and I got out, and we were going to go inside, and so I took my sunglasses off, and I put them on the seat where I sit when I'm driving. And I said to myself, oh, that's not a very bright place to put your sunglasses, because you're going to sit on them later. And my daughter pretty much said the same thing, but I didn't move them. And then I went inside, and we visited with whatever we had to do for a little bit. And then I got out, went up to my truck, opened the door, hopped up, sat down, and I heard a crunch. Not just a crunch. It was a $300 crunch, because these are my prescription sunglasses. That was not a good day for me, because I realized how not very smart I can be at times. You see, there was a point in time where I didn't think I needed glasses. And I'll tell you the time where I realized I needed glasses. I went to an Oilers hockey game way back, and I was there with a friend, and we were sitting in the expensive seats right up near the ceiling and looking out over a game, and I thought, well, this is crazy. I'm watching grown men rip around the ice, chasing nothing, and then one of them went down with nothing that he was chasing, and he shot something that wasn't there, and he scored. And then I realized there was actually a puck on the ice. I just couldn't see it. And then I realized I need to get my glasses or my eyes checked. So I did. Sure enough, I saw glasses. I saw glasses. I got glasses. And when I wore them, it was amazing. I started to see things. I could see my wife. I could see my children. I could see stop signs. I could see the speed limit. It was good. And so I've been wearing my glasses, for the last probably 25 years. And my glasses remind me that I see the world in a very specific way. And these glasses here and my new sunglasses, they help me see clearly what's out there. How we view our world, not just through our glasses, but through the world that we live in, helps us understand the world around us, and it frames how we process things. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story about our farm dog. He's not mine. He's my brother-in-law's. His name is Tommy. We don't know how Tommy got to the farm, but one day Tommy showed up at the farm, which is about 40 minutes down the highway. Right away, we realized that Tommy had probably been a very abused dog, because Tommy was terrified of people. So in Tommy's doggy worldview of how he saw the world, he saw people as a threat. Whenever somebody would come near him, he would run and hide. When we would drive onto the farm property, he would run and hide. Because in his doggy view of his world, people beat you and abused you, which is a really sad thing, because Tommy's a nice little dog. But over time, as my brother-in-law took care of Tommy, they fed him, they gave him food, left food out for him, he began to trust them, and he began to get a different view of the world. And in his worldview of a dog, these people were nice to him. And all of a sudden, over time, his view changed. Not all people were bad, and he had a different perspective on his world of how he saw the world. So view the world through different, our culture through different lenses. You've grown up in Canada. And so Canada, we would say, okay, what's a Canadian culture? What are things that are part of our culture in Canada? So we may think of things like maple syrup. I don't know. Maybe that's if you're part of Quebec or from Quebec. You may think of hockey as our national sport, although I think our national sport is lacrosse. But you can check that out and let me know. But not only are you part of Canada, you're part of Western Canada. And in Western Canada, we think differently. You're not just part of Western Canada, you're part of Alberta.
How you see the world
is reflective of where you live. You live in Alberta.
Not only do you live
in Alberta, you live in Edmonton. So if we were to say, what is an Edmonton cultural thing that is part of who we are, part of our world? We might say, well, who's your favorite hockey team? And I know somebody out there is going, Calgary Flames. But for the most part, we like the Edmonton Oilers. It's part of our little world that we live in. We also live in a family, probably. Whatever your family arrangement is, there's somebody that takes care of you, a place you go home to at nighttime that hopefully is safe, and you live there. And some of the values and things that your family does are part of your worldview of how you see your world. Now, I've had the privilege of going to different places all over the world. I've been to Indonesia, to Kenya, to India twice, to Pakistan. I've looked over the border into Afghanistan. I've been to Mexico 24 times, and I've spent 24 weeks of my life in Mexico. I actually kind of really like Mexico. So I'm going to tell you a few things that I've learned over the years of Mexican culture and how it's very different than our culture. Now, when I go down to Mexico, I like to go with eyes open. So I'm seeking to learn because I'm bringing my view of how I see the world into their culture. There's a number of things that I have learned about Mexican culture that are pretty cool. One of my friends, Dave, who I spent quite a bit of time with down there over the years, he tells me a story of going to visit a pastor on a Saturday afternoon. Now, you have to think in Mexico, there's not big green parks everywhere where you can just go and play. In Mexico, the part where we go, you actually go with your family for a day, and you go to the park, and you have to drive in and pay an entrance fee to get into the park so that you can run around in the grass, kick the football, have a picnic with your family. And it's something that you don't do very often, and when you do, it's a very special day trip. So Dave was pulling up to this family's little house where they lived, and they were backing their big car, their station wagon, out to go to the park for the day. So there was the pastor's wife and probably 5 or 6 kids. They were all piled in there. They had their blankets and their picnic basket and all that kind of stuff. And they saw Dave coming. And so Dave stopped and he said, "Oh, where are you going?" He's like, "Oh, we were going to go to the park for the day, but no, now that you're here, come on in." And Dave's like, No, I can come back another time because you guys are going to the park. But that's not part of Mexican culture. Mexican culture is because Dave was there to visit them. Dave now took priority over all their other plans because he was there to visit them. They unpacked the car. Dave came in. He had tea or whatever they had some food probably, and he spent a few hours with them, and they probably didn't go to the park that day, but they weren't upset. Why? Because part of Mexican culture is that people are more valuable than your plans. And so Dave was very honored, and that's just the way their culture works. Here's another one that I learned, and I seek to practice as often as I can. In Mexico, when you're talking to somebody, like I'm talking to you right now, you are the most important person in my vision. Something we don't actually practice in Canada. Oh, hey, how you doing, George? Oh, yeah, you see what I mean? Yeah. Oh, hey, there's Gayleen. Hey, Gayleen, I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay? We do that all the time here, or nod to somebody as they're going by. Hey, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, what were you saying again? No. In Mexican culture, whoever is standing in front of you is the most valuable person in your world. So their worldview is that you are valuable, and we have conversation, and we don't even look somewhere else or seek to grab somebody else until we are done having our conversation. Once we're done here, then we go to the next person. It's part of their value. Here's another one that I like. We built houses while we're in Mexico. And you think, well, this is kind of weird. So say I'm up on the roof of a house, 8 feet off the ground, and I need a chalk line. Now, a chalk line is this little black thing with a windy hand. It's almost like a fishing rod with a string that comes out that has chalk on it. And you pull it tight and you flick it, and it makes a straight line. It's great for getting the nails all in a row. Okay? So say I'm up on the roof, and I realize my chalk line is down on the ground. What am I going to do? Hey, Gayleen, can you throw me up the chalk line? No, we don't do that. They don't do that. That's what we do. The proper thing to do is for Gayleen to go over, get my chalk line. If there's a ladder there, she's going to climb up the ladder and hand it to me. And you think, well, that's kind of weird. Why didn't she just throw it to you? Well, if you throw something to somebody, it means that you don't have the time of day to walk over and give them something. And so it's like, well, that's kind of weird. So it's a way to honor the other person by going to them and handing it to them. Little things that we learn in other cultures. Another one, and just before we wrap up here, another one in cultures is food. Everybody loves food. Like, what is your favorite ethnic food? Something that isn't Canadian. And don't tell me it's French fries from America and burgers. It doesn't count. What's your favorite food? What do you like to eat from other cultures? I love going out all the time when I used to be able to go out and eating different kinds of food. My wife's favorite food? Mexican. She loves tacos. We have hot dogs there wrapped in bacon. They're really good. I don't know if I've eaten goat brain tacos, but they were available there. I'm not into jiggly, jello-y, kind of gooey things. Ugh. But I have eaten intestines, which is kind of like bacon. It's not bad. It's good stuff. So food is a big part of our world. So where are we going with all this? Well, one of the things that we want to think about is not only how we view our world, but how we view our world through our faith. Because faith, part of church, it is part of our culture and part of my world and my worldview. How do I view the world? Do I view it through God's eyes? Or maybe I view it through a different perspective. So we're going to kind of journey on that over the next few weeks and just dig into that. I actually have put together a little sheet here that you can download and print off and fill it out. And if you do that, you can email it to me. The email's right down there. And next time we get together, we'll maybe talk about some of your answers. But I'm going to show you one food that I really love. And then you can tell me maybe what that food is. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm going to show you. And then you can tell me where I might find that food, in what country I might find that. Okay? So here we go. I'm going to show you a little bit of something I enjoy. All right. Can you see that? I'm just getting something over here. All right. So here I have something. Everything here has been sterilized and, all that other kind of stuff. But this is something that I really enjoy. Now, you may look around and go, okay, well, where's the frying pan? Well, this is very eco-friendly. You don't need to use electricity. You don't need to use gas. You don't need a barbecue. All you need is a knife. And we're going to cut this here. I'm going to cut it up a little bit here. See how sharp that knife is? Oh, yeah, beautiful. And then we're going to cut it this way here. This is going to be great for my lunch. I know you want it. You guys. So you think, where did this food come from? Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to put this up over here. Make a nice little display, kind of like that. It's kind of a weird piece, but I can get a couple of nice pieces out of that. We'll just put that over there for now. This guy, we're just going to put him there. Now, we have this here. I like to put a little bit of soy sauce. Good stuff. Look at that. Anybody know what this is? This is nasal cleanser. If you get it in the wrong spot, you feel like your nose is going to blow up. It's pretty good stuff. So we'll just put a little bit there. And I know you're drooling and dripping with excitement. And we have these. So, next week, you're going to email me the sheet, and you're going to tell me, what am I eating? And also, what country might I find this in? Now, this is a really big piece of goodness here. But thanks for joining me. We'll see you next week.